forget those. Cubic is as high as we'll go for now. Now, we're going to do a, let's do absolute value. Absolute value function is just that. F of x equals absolute value of x. Now that's going to be the one I'm going to graph. I'm not going to add anything to it. Well, like I said, we're going to talk about what the numbers do to these graphs later. So let's break this down. It's just y equals the square root of x. Plug that in. Let's graph that. So y equals the square root of x, or the absolute value. I keep saying square root. Absolute value of x. And I'm going to do my x's and my y's. So I've got, once again, -4, -2, 0, 2, and 4. What's the absolute value of -4? Well, you plug that in there. What's the absolute value bars do? It makes everything positive. So that is really just +4. What happens if I plug in a -2? Well, I'm going to get a +2. A 0, I get 0. 2, I get 2. 4, I get 4. So if I graph this bad boy, okay, -4, 4, -2, 2, 0, 0, 2, 2, 4, 4. I get a, wow, I can't draw, a V, okay? Now, this has the same rule as your quadratic. If absolute value of x, so if it's positive, then you get a V. If negative absolute value of x, then you get an upside down V. You get stickman legs. Okay, so stickman arms, stickman legs. That's absolute value. Alrighty, next is the square root function. Yeah, just square root function. So I'm just going to write that square root of x function. So f of x equals square root of x. This is a what? What are these called? I keep writing here. Parent function. Okay, so break this down. Y equals the square root of x. So I'm just going to graph that one. I'm not going to add anything to it. Not doing any numbers. I'm just going to graph that one. So let's do that. Y equals the square root of x. Plug in my values here. So this is my x and my y. -4, -2, 0, 2, and 4. Now, remember I'm plugging in. So what is the square root of -4? If you said -2, you're wrong. Okay. Why? What's -2 times -2? A +4. Right? So you don't know what that is. So I'm going to put a question mark. I will tell you what it is. It's an imaginary number. It's 2i, but don't worry about that. Okay, so what's the square root of a -2? Also don't know, so I have to graph it. What's the square root of 0? Well, 0 times 0 is 0, so 0. And what's the square root of 2? I think it's 1.89 for some reason. I don't know. It's something like that. Square root of 4 is 2. Square root of, let's keep going. What's the square root of, let's do 6. It's like 2.4 or something. What's the square root of 8? It's like 2.9. Square root of 9. We'll go up there. 3. Okay, I'm going to graph all those. Why did I add some? Because you're going to see why. What's negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So when you graph an absolute or a square root function, what are you never going to have? You're never going to have anything here or here. Okay? So I don't have anything in the negative. So -4, I don't know what to graph. -2, I don't know what to graph. 0. Oh, 0, I can graph a 0. 2, I can graph this like 1.8 thing. I think it's 1.2. We're going to graph right there. Okay. 4, I can graph a 2. 6, 8, 9. Okay. 6, I can graph a 2.4. 8, I can graph 2.89. 9, I can graph 3. So what I do is this. Okay. It kind of swirls out, but it continues growing just really, really slow. All right. So think about it this way. What is f of 100? So if I plugged in 100 here, what would I get? 10. So if you go all the way to 100, you're only up to 10, which is like a It's like this high. So it's not really, it's not growing that fast at all. That's the square root of x. That's the fourth. You got two more. I gotta go really fast. No, I got one more. It's 5. Okay, the last one is the 1 over x function. That should be an x. 1 over x. So f of x equals 1 over x. We're going to graph that. So I'll get y equals 1 over x. Now, let's do x and y. Negative 4, negative 2, 0, 2, and 4. Graphing those. What is 1 over negative 4? Is negative 1/4. 1 over negative 2 is negative 1/2. 0, you can't, what is 1 divided by 0? It is undefined. Okay, so there's nothing there. What is 1 over 2? 1/2. 1 over 4 is 1/4. Now this is the one we're going to start adding stuff. Okay, so we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. What if I plug in, graph this? So negative 4, negative 1/4. Negative 2, negative 1/2. 0, I can't graph anything, right? 2 is 1/2. 4 is 1/4. If I plug in a half there, let's plug in a half right here. Negative 1/2, positive 1/2. What's 1 divided by a half? 2. What's 1 divided by 2? 2. So it kind of goes up. This one's negative 1/2 is negative 2. Positive 1/2 is 2. So my graph looks like that. They approach 0, so I don't have a lot of time to spend on this. They approach this 0 but never touch it. They approach that 0 and never touch it. They approach that 0 and never touch it. And they approach that 0 and never touch it. We're going to talk about what those are called in a second. But that is all 5 or 6, and I'm done.